Hey everyone, welcome to episode 357, Serving Others. Welcome to the Harmony in the Home podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Hutchison. I'm a counselor, a life coach, and most importantly, an imperfect mom doing this work right along with you. And my goal on our podcast is to go from chaos to calm, feel less frazzled, and have more fun within your four walls to have more harmony in your home. So, hi everyone. I am going to blow your mind today with a clip that really just spoke to me, and it spoke to so many people because, when it goes viral, that means it resonates with other people. Because I feel like when you look at things that go viral, not for why they went viral, but you look at the comments, you're like, oh my gosh, we're all the same people. We're all going through the same thing. We're all having the same struggles. It helps you to feel less alone. And I feel like we can do that, give that gift to our kids too. When they are having a big moment, we're like, oh, this is part of the human experience. No, this is normal. This is normal to feel overwhelmed. This is normal to feel in a funk. This is normal to not have your mojo. Mom feels that way too. Dad feels that way sometimes too. So then when they have that moment, or they're frustrated, or they're angry, or they're overwhelmed, or whatever the tricky emotion is, then they're like, oh, this is part of the human experience. They don't push it away. They don't think they're doing something wrong. And then they don't say, oh, I'm not good enough because I'm having this negative emotion. I'm not supposed to have a tricky emotion. When they know it's part of the human experience, you're like, oh, okay. But when they get in trouble for having their emotions, what they're really getting in trouble for is their actions that go with the emotions because they don't have strategies. So separately, we deal with the strategies of what to do, but they never get in trouble for having the emotion. What they go, quote unquote, get trouble for and have consequences for is for their actions. And so, but they kind of purse those together, and those are kind of seared together. So when we can pull those apart for them, then that's where real magic comes from. They're like, oh, it's not my worthiness I'm in trouble for, or that I'm having human emotions. It's that I body slammed my brother. So when we teach them how to manage their emotions, and one of the parts of managing the emotions, yes, we give them strategies, but normalizing it too. Because I will say that when I wasn't allowing my kids to have emotions and I wanted them to be happy all the time, they felt a lot of pressure to be happy all the time. And I feel like that pressure cooker of holding that beach ball underneath water made them more apt to tears and meltdowns and things like that, because they're like, I know I shouldn't do this. So they were just like holding it and then they would just burst randomly. I'm like, what is happening? So I'm going to let you listen to something and let me know what you think on the other side.
If you could give a 20-year-old one piece of advice, what would it be?
Serve. If you feel lonely, you feel anxious, you feel depressed, you're too focused on yourself, put that energy into something or somebody else that helps someone else. If you ever feel any of those emotions, you are too focused on you. You are being selfish. Go find a selfless act to commit to and do that, and tell me you feel any of those things afterward. It could be anything. Volunteer at an animal shelter, volunteer at a homeless shelter, call your friend and just see how they're doing. Some form of service exists in so many facets, and I think people feel that feeling because they're not serving others. The more I outwardly focus on people around me and trying to help them, the better my inner world feels. And Zig Ziglar has this great quote: you can have everything you want out of life if you just help enough people get what they want.
So that is from the TikTok page, Daryl Creative, but he's not the one speaking. I'm telling you, I've watched so many of this guy that's speaking and speaking truth. I've watched so many of his TikToks and Instagrams, but I can't think of his name right now. So he's not credited in the caption, which is crazy, but I know who he is. I just don't know who he is at this moment. So it's from the page Daryl Creative, and I find that this is so true. I would say after my dad earned his angel wings, definitely the hardest, darkest time of my life, other than infertility. But infertility had a happy ending where, like, we had Lily and Grady, and yes, that was a dark day and dark times, but David and I's motto was, yes, this is dark. Yes, this is hard, but this too shall pass. And when you lose someone that you love, this too shall not pass. Like, this too shall pass doesn't work. And that's what got me through all those dark years of infertility. And then we had the happy ending at the end. And so this too shall pass really helped me. And everyone has their cross to bear. And things like that really helped me during the dark years of infertility. But when you lose someone that you love, this too shall pass doesn't really work. It doesn't really fit. It doesn't really help the situation. And you don't want the pain to go away. You want to feel it, but you also have to be able to function and not go down with the ship, so to speak. Because when you lose someone, what helps me is thinking about them, because we've lost a few in the last couple of years, few just huge people in our life. Thinking about them They don't want us laying in bed and just sulking and being sad and heavy and depressed. Heavy physically and heavy just emotionally. So they want us out living our life. They want us to be happy. So that really helps me now, 3 years post losing someone that was my everything. And during those dark times, it was very hard to get out of bed and function and be of service to others. But I knew A, that was what he wanted. And I knew B, that was what I wanted to model for my kids. And C, well, there's a whole alphabet. It literally was what kept me not from laying in bed all day. Not that I'm a big lay in bed all day kind of girl, but sometimes you can lay in bed and not lay in bed, if that makes sense. Sometimes you can have the lay in bed energy while you're not laying in bed. And so I didn't want that lay in bed energy. And so I started just doing laundry for other people. I started volunteering at my church more. I started buying coffee for the people behind me. I started thinking like my dad would think and trying to be more like him every day. Picking up garbage as I'm walking in the baseball fields, because we used to, this is a funny story. When I was little, we used to pick up garbage in our neighborhood in little plastic baggies or plastic Publix bags. And one time I picked up something and I found $1 and I flipped out and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I want to do this every weekend kind of thing. Turns out the legend of the story, or the story goes, is that my dad planted that $1 there as a little reinforcement of like, hey, you're doing a good job. I'm going to give you this $1. You're going to think you found it. And I'm going to, just to encourage you that you're doing the Lord's work right now by picking up trash and being service of others. Not picking up trash as the Lord's work, but in service to others is where we find less depression. Not that it's all gone, but it's less than. It lessens the impact of the sadness and depression and the grief and the loneliness. A lot of times we're very lonely and we're around a lot of people, but when we're in service to others, it kind of puts things in perspective. And it also reminds us that other people are going through struggle. We're not alone. And in that action is kind of like a distraction from the pain and anguish and grief. It kind of gives your brain a break. And when I went to counseling in the beginning, my grief counselor said something really profound. She said, you have to do intentional grieving. Your body cannot just grieve all day long. So when you want to grieve, just have intentional times during the day, like in the morning and the day and the night, that you're going to intentionally grieve. And it helps your brain to know that I can't grieve all day, but when the grief comes up and it's overwhelming, like, no, we're going to do that at 7:00 tonight. Like, can you just put that in a box and we're going to address it at 7:00 tonight. And at that 7:00 tonight, if that was the intentional grieving time, then that's when you look at movies, you watch videos, you listen to music, you might see their clothes, whatever it is, that's intentional grieving. And that really helped me get through the day to day, especially in the beginning when everything is in quicksand. But a little levity, some of the comments are I've been hearing this for years. It's true though. God is who I put my trust on. This is so true. I help lots of people and I'm very blessed. We are the best version of ourselves when we serve others. Anyone can be great because everyone can serve. MLK's definition of greatness. Natalie has a good story. Well, not a good story, but like a profound story. Yes, I can attest to this. In 2024, I was going through a breakup. I didn't have a car. I was in school with MBA with no job. For my MBA with no job. I felt like everything was falling apart. I remember praying and asking God to help me to pick up the broken pieces and put them back together. As I was praying, I hear God say, help others. And I'm confused because I'm asking God for help and he tells me to help others. It didn't make sense at the time. I was obedient. I started serving at the nonprofit organization. And let me tell you, it has been the best decision of my life. My life did a 360 and I fell in love with serving. I don't see myself not helping others. It's a moment when I'm able to be the hands and feet of Jesus. So yes, if you're feeling lonely, anxious, or depressed, serve. And there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments like that. Just for a little levity, KM says, I've been serving my ungrateful family for years. They gave me the depression. Not that that's funny, but it's like she's saying like, I'm serving them and they're the ones giving me the depression. So all that to say, not only is service of others going to help you, you're going to model for your kids that they're going to be like, okay, when I'm sad, when I'm depressed, when I'm going through really, really hard times, I need to volunteer at the church more. I need to help my neighbor. I need to pick up trash. I need to buy stuff for people behind me. I need to go buy flowers for a stranger. Random acts of kindness is a great way to talk about serving because it doesn't always have to be like, I'm going to serve and I'm going to build a house for Habitat for Humanity Friday to Sunday. It can be the little things. It can be the bringing the shopping cart back. Like that is a service to others, bringing the shopping cart back up to the building. So try not to make it too broad and big, but just do little things. And in those little things, they sometimes become bigger things. You model for your kids, you model for yourself, and in the end, you'll have much more harmony in the home. I love you guys. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Hey mamas, thanks for listening. If you had any ahas, clicks, or those lightning bolt moments while listening, you have to check out my free parenting bootcamp, where we take all of this to the next level and we try to create even more awakenings for ourselves so that we can connect more with our kids and never yell at them again. You can sign up at www.coachingkelly.com. And if you really want to fill up my love cup, send me an email of what your aha was, what your click was, what was that lightning bolt moment while you were listening. I want nothing more in life than for you to have harmony in your home and to learn how to be an imperfect mom like me, which allows your kids to be imperfect too, each and every day. Thanks for listening.